Welcome and what's up, everybody? My name is Cameron Yo, and before I start reading background information for the previous videos, but not to elaborate on every subject, so I'll have more videos in the future, right? I'll be starting off with although schools teach from textbooks, people should be able to have Earth as their classroom instead of having it be in a room. That way, they get to expend their mind in a way because in uh, the surroundings I talked about having a first person perspective and a third person perspective and etc. So that way they can, like I just said, expand their mind. So with that said, when people roam, they may encounter another language. So electronics can help people understand faster. Therefore, electronics could translate faster than books, causing relations with one another. In a sense, it'd be one language because there's still communication with one another. And with the earth being our classroom, they can learn their surroundings in person. Although it's not official when someone would be able to explore with the classroom, because obviously you can't send a newborn to school. They need to be like taught themselves and with their parents, right? And they should acknowledge the history of places. That way, when they're introduced to the actual places they're learning about, they can see it themselves and have it become familiar. Because I highly doubt someone's gonna remember like a certain type of like poisonous frog or a worm, like all the different types of like animals or just something like it just has to be familiar and in your brain. That way you don't have to forget about it. It just kind of stuck to you. So that way they get to understand the different animals, environments, and etc. themselves. And since animals are mentioned, when it comes to meeting new environments, people can have zoos move to the open environment. That way they can have their own freedom and human teachers. Plus, we can introduce them to different foods and animals. Although careers allow people to have purpose, people should be able to expand their careers. Meaning, if someone were to know enough to be able to maintain their certain career, then maybe they can have another career they can do. For example, if there was a wildfire happening and it wasn't going out, people should be able to be deployed and take it out together, no matter where they are, because that's their profession, and having as much help as possible can help end the many problems that people face. So, to carry on with the schooling, people could be getting animals like sharks, alligators, dolphins, monkeys, etc., and teaching them to use, like, for example, to use the shark as an example. They're known to be able to sense blood from miles away, so teaching them can al- alter their diet, and it could possibly be a benefit for them. Also, to add on to animals, scientists, which I'm not sure where specifically, but it's towards Germany or Russia, just towards that region. So, um, scientists are creating animal hybrids, which has been done before by scientists by testing the hybrid breeding with animals and even humans. Although scientists are supposed to do experiments, they would be breaking the natural law. So having order would regulate the decisions made. With that said, I mentioned scientists trying to develop a way for humans to enter inside robots. So that should be considered something to regulate too, as one, because if people aren't alright with it, then it shouldn't be like carried on with, because that serves as a threat in the future. Because say for example, there's like predictions that the robots could turn against humans, right? And that's from Simpsons, but that's just an example. And robots should be in the service of humans because that's just like a whole nother being that we made type of thing, right? So it's just our perspective on how to acknowledge it. You know what I mean? Because they can become a problem that people didn't even want in the first place. So if we're to carry on, if we're talking in terms of reality, people may fear death, so they go and create an escape. But that's another part of life that they won't understand until they themselves experience it. I don't I don't mean to promote death to bother anyone. It's to acknowledge that it's another part of life, and since there's belief of immortality, I'd like to acknowledge that too. Although I already mentioned, I haven't mentioned it. I think I kind of have this mixed up, but the life expectancies that can just boost your life expectancy, or it's according to studies, right, by scientists. So that's like, yeah, it's just to give background information, I guess. I'd like to acknowledge that another step for that to happen would be getting rid of time. Even though there's different time zones, calendars promote seasons by categorizing them with summer, winter, and etc. in certain months. But in reality, a place can stay summer or winter depending on where you go. Like it's not gonna stay like that, like the whole time. I know some places might be like that, but I'm just saying like there, there's always different seasons too, right? The reason we'd abandon the calendar is because it makes life go by faster if you think about it. Like time could be looked at as an illusion because the stars could be used for time. More specifically, the North Star. The North Star can be used to tell time. With that said, if people get taught that, they'd be able to know how to tell the time. And since I'm promoting jobs like picking up trash and humanitarian duties and etc., people should be able to clock in anytime as long as their energy is being utilized and they know the work they're doing is worth their time and it's enjoyed. For example, someone could be mopping all day and may not like the job, but with an invention that can clean the floor itself, that can save a person time. I don't know if you guys seen it, but like it's like a square box or round, and it'll go on the floor and it'll just clean the floor itself. So like, okay, just carry on. Although cleaning is needed, people could make new inventions that can do the cleaning, right? With that said, that should go for other jobs. For example, an office worker could possibly be replaced, although allowing new beginnings in one's life. Because obviously, someone can't say how someone feels about a certain job, and if they don't like it, then they don't like it. They should be able to do what they want, but not specifically just like do what you want, but just like in a sense of like career, yeah. Yeah. With jobs mentioned, there will be a need for security for students if the earth is going to be the classroom, since there could be people out there who are trying to take children. So like this is just for example, so people should become more aware, because people who do try and take humans or children aren't going to be in a white van offering candy, most likely. They're going to be the people you possibly work with, see around you, everywhere, or it could just be a random person you encounter. So that's why if a tower was constructed, or if there's more space, or at least more connection, right, that we'll go over in a little bit. Um, people would be able to chase down the suspect together, right? Like, instead of having people think it's a right to do the action in the first place, we need to spread awareness that way when something does happen, people know that they're not getting away, and that we can rely on each other for decreasing crime. Although this is to promote having security for school, people should realize the goal is to make Earth a better place and start evolving as humans. Since there's public alerts that can notify people, that can go through electronics, right? If someone wants to go and cause public alerts, people should be able to make money for helping. Although there's risk involved and they're not like the cops, or they're not like certified or whatever, they'd be considered spies from a personal view, right? Plus, together we can make the Earth a better place to carry and to carry on, and the to carry on to picking up trash. Like, the clothes that get found could be reused and allow people to have clothes, or it simply spread awareness for others to save their clothes for donation. The same concept goes for trash. That way there's nothing getting wasted, like material wise, right? And it doesn't have to be constantly produced, because eventually we're gonna run out of material because we're constantly producing it and not like recycling and reusing it, right? Plus, people can make money off of recycling, but from a personal view, that's not promoted enough, and people should realize they can make money off of that. Although people already do make money, there are places that have this as a problem, and people should have an opportunity to pick up trash at the places they have, or that have that as a problem, because if no one's gonna do that work, someone like it's just gonna accumulate in one place, and it's just gonna build up, and it's just gonna get worse, right? And to add background information, if people try to take their own trash to a place that gives money for trash, they'd have to have photo evidence, maybe a recording, but some sort of evidence to show that they picked up trash from the environment. But at the same time, people should be able to make money off of trash when they throw it out, because at least they're not throwing it out in like outside, you know what I mean? Just dumping it onto like the sidewalk or just in the forest, whatever. And instead, people could be throwing out their trash everywhere, so having money given can prevent that from happening, which would be great from a personal perspective, because if people don't have access to a place that can take their trash, at some point they're going to need to take their trash out. So having extra money can help someone out. Then trash wouldn't be a problem, and everybody can know that there's no more trash to pick, and it doesn't have to become a problem in the future. So like I said in the other video, according to scientists, um like they did their own research to they basically had the conclusion that there would be more trash than fish by the year 2050. But I don't like that's just to show you guys specifically like the time, but I don't mean to bring that into that, my bad. So to add on to the benefits of agriculture, people could acknowledge the benefits of the food itself. For example, grapes can introduce life expectancy. So to promote that, I'd like to acknowledge that exercising can increase life expectancy too. The reason why exercising should be promoted more is because it can also help with self-esteem and allow a clear mind, and several other benefits, right? Whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually. From personal experience, to look at yourself as overweight, it doesn't promote a healthy mindset. And to give background information, Spartans would promote exercising for their boys or men for war, but in this case, it's not to promote war, but it's just to have them be prepared for anything that may come their way. And that goes for both gender, and that's just for an example. So to carry on, there's a plant named cucumba that's located towards like the Africa or South America, towards that region, that that can cause skin to look younger, as well as provide carbohydrates and other benefits. To to add on another agricultural benefit, people could be drinking tea, coffee, etc. to open their veins, as long as it's hot water, right? And help their blood pump better, which is good for the heart. And to add on to the tea, there's a tea that I can't recall that can increase life expectancy too. So I can only imagine the amount of other um, herbs or things that are out there for people to use to boost life expectancy or just the betterment of their health. So although there are benefits from food already, people should be aware of them and practice it because we're now aware of what they can provide us. What they can, yeah. So, if someone's not taught about it right, because it may be taught in, say, I'm not sure if it's health class. Yeah, health class, where that way they don't have to just forget about it. They'd have like, say, you go to the grocery store and it has like, oh, this provides this and that, you know. And since different types of foods are scattered everywhere, having one place to go to for food can help us with knowing the different types of benefits it can provide. For example, carrots can help with sight, and oranges can provide vitamin C, and anything that's the color orange is like known to help with sight. The same thing goes for red. Anything that's red helps with the heart, and so on and so forth. And since these are known to people but not promoted in terms of health, people should be able to know about the different types of foods that are out there into one place. And to add on to that, like if there's food stocked up everywhere, right? And you have stores, say, just in every corner, just spread out everywhere, and there's just several of them. There's too much food just going out, and not everyone's gonna buy everything inside a store. So if things were at one place, and this goes with the Tower of Babylon, right? Like, or the Babel, or Babel, whatever you want to call it. It it provides one place for people to go to, and people should be able to know about, yeah, they should know about the different types of food that are out there. The reason why I'm emphasizing this is because we're able to know about the different types of foods out there, but since foods are still scattered, we can increase farming, like I've explained before in other videos with the river, right? That just be a natural way with water too. But at the same time, you don't have to completely rely on that. So allowing a bigger variety of food for people. With that said, having one place to go to for food would decrease the supply and demand too. So also to add on to the plant culture regarding bud, there are benefits that are provided with it, like helping with arthritis, which is like basically problems that you could have with your bones, and like say they have a saying where if you pop your knuckles, it's gonna be bad for you when you get older, so that helps with that. And there's different types of the bud itself. For example, bud could be indica, sativa, or a hybrid. To explain the benefits briefly, indica can help relax the body, sativa allows you to feel energized, and hybrid is a mixture of both. So there's several other benefits that it can provide, that we'll acknowledge. So to start off, we'll be acknowledging the Alzheimer's disease, because it causes memory to fade away. And by being able to treat that, people should be able to solidify their consciousness. And in previous video, I mentioned that the or no, I think, yeah, I just mentioned it, but like the electronics could become a book for people, right? So if the internet was free, because it's sort of like an illusion, like I mentioned, it'd be able to allow people to have their own just book in their hand. You know what I mean? It's just, you can look up, well, whatever you want. At the same time, I don't want to say whatever you want, because there's children out there too. Because if they have free internet, they might get into, say, porn or something. So we should be able to teach them like about that. You know what I mean? That way, they don't have to just like get lost into that. Because if you, I heard this a song was saying using the tools of old ancients. So like, in a sense, like, you don't really need to have the porn to teach you, right? Like your parents or your guardians or whoever should be able to um, talk to you about that, right? So especially considering we're living in times that hasn't been reached with knowledge and wisdom wise, and that ties in with the electronics being able to have free Wi-Fi, like I just mentioned. So the second benefit is helpful to mental health by treating migraines, which is bad headaches, ADHD, and decreased focus. And these may have other um, symptoms, you could say, but anxiety, like feeling trapped basically, and bipolar disorder, which is mood swings. And the physical benefits of bud could include fighting cancer by killing white blood cells, and the treatment of arthritis that I just mentioned by relieving pain, and treating seizures, but like is a certain type of seizure that I forgot specifically, but it won't have any side effects that'll follow through with it. So yeah, since the benefits are mentioned, I like to acknowledge the price of the bud. And the there's a place that's on an island, or it's just on land, right? That sells bud for about $2, $3, and and business wise, people could be selling it for $10, $20, but that's just ripping people off and just being a cheapskate basically, because you could be um, planting more and saving people money, and it's proven to have benefits with it. So by scientists, so it should be um, at least acknowledged that it's not a bad drug, because I mentioned that there's other drugs out there. And to give an example, if people don't know, like say there's a drug called Crocodile, where you have a needle, right? And you inject the drug into your veins or into your blood system or just inside, right? And sometimes you'll start to develop skin deformations where your skin will have like a really dryness to it, or just something like kind of growing over it in a sense. But the basic the whole point here is I I do support blood, but just not drugs that are dangerous. And that's that's pretty much all I have. And if you guys like to see more background information, which I don't mind giving, and I'll be glad to do that. And that's pretty much it that I have written down for now. So I'll talk to you guys till the next video. Peace.